What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cap show. I even hate to talk about it, but we realized and we found out about the school shooting that happened this weekend in Nashville. So many school shootings are continuing to happen. To me, I'm sick and tired of talking about it. In a lot of the media, we continue to bring up the same issues that we're dealing with. Mental issues. I think it stems more than just mental illness and just all this other stuff. We can blame gun laws and all this, but I think it really boils down to the person and who they are. Are they psychotic? Do they have empathy for others? Are they a sociopath? But we keep digging a grave where it's just like, man, like why are we seeing so many shootings in America that are continuing to happen and happen throughout the years? It's kind of disturbing. I mean, since 1999, the Columbine High School, which was the first school shooting, this was back in the 90s, dude. Ever since then, there's been 376 school shootings since 1999. That is crazy, dude. Like, that's more than just gun laws, because let's say we do change the gun laws and let's say we ban guns, which I don't think is right. They're still going to get guns. Just like people still get illegal drugs off the streets, they're still going to get guns no matter what. So changing the gun laws, I don't think is going to really benefit anything. I mean, if anything, it's going to make things worse. So I think the gun laws are not going to change much there. I think it's the individual, who the person is, and I think it stems from just mental issues, or maybe they were bullied as a kid, or maybe their upbringing was really different than others, but still, that's not an excuse to go to a school and shoot innocent people. We saw in the Nashville shooting, Audrey Hale, she was a former student. She was 28 years old. Really, it was just out of the blue. I mean, she DM'd her friend 20 minutes before the shooting, was like, hey, something terrible's about to happen, and was really just like kind of like freaking out. And her friend called the suicide hotline watch, was like, hey, like, I think my friend's like gonna kill herself or something terrible's gonna happen. And then we found out an hour later she ends up killing 6 people in a Christian school that she went to. She killed 3 teachers and 3 children, 9 years old, which is insane to me. Like, it's more just mental issues or mental illness. There's something's got to stem more than just that, dude. Like, this is crazy. And we saw the body footage of the police officers that ran up in there. And yes, we got to give them respect and honor for that, because we look at the Texas shooting last year, and a lot of those cops were just like kind of froze up, didn't know really what to do. These guys knew exactly what they're doing. They were well trained. They showed no fear. They had all the brave in the world, and they went up in the school without shields and ran up on this girl and shot her and killed her, which they had the right to. I mean, she took 6 innocent lives for no reason, dude. So she had it coming. She had her death coming right away. In the body footage of the officers, it was crazy. It was intense. Like, they were running up to the second floor, and they were ready, dude. They were ready for this stuff. So I think, we look at the Texas shooting, and it's just like, wow, it's day and night different, right? The way they handled situations. This Nashville police, man, they should deserve honor here, and they really prevented others from dying as well, which is awesome, right? From preventing other deaths. But my thing is like, what solutions are we coming up with? What's the government coming up with to prevent these stuffs from happening? Prevent a future school shooter from happening? But the thing is, it's still gonna happen. That's the reality of it, and it sucks to say, but that's the truth. There's gonna be another school shooting, and it's gonna be sick, and it's just like, what are we amplifying? What solutions are we coming up with? I mean, I had a couple ideas. When you go to the airport and you get a body scan, why not amplify that in schools now? All in the funding and all this. Well, we afford other stuff that really doesn't benefit humans that we're dumping money into. And it's just like, why can't we dump money into the children, into the youth, if for this, into schools? I think that's one solution I had, where it's just like, all right, so we know about this, but this Nashville was different. I mean, she shot the locks in, she broke in by herself, she had like army guns on her. So it was just like, yes, and we do know she purchased the guns legally. That's what we do know, and that rubs people the wrong way. Let's say she purchased them illegally. Like, she had this plotted out 100%, and she knew what was going on. She had this all planned, and to me, I feel like she's planned this for a couple years now, where I'm gonna park, where I'm gonna pull up my car, that had surveillance cameras on her, and all this. And I think, really hiding the students were great, because we saw footage of her in the school where a lot of the places there was no kids in, which is great, and they were on their P's and Q's, absolutely. But it's crazy, 4 out of 5 school shootings at least one other person had knowledge of the attacker's plan, which is crazy to me, right? I'm not saying someone had knowledge of this, but she obviously messaged her friend, was like, hey, something bad's going to happen. She thought she was going to take her own life, but little does she know, she ended up dying, but taking others with her for no reason. And I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, what, dude, like, you cannot be, mentally all there to say, hey, I'm going to go shoot up a school right now. Like, dude, that's crazy. That is insane. That's sociopath. That's psychotic. That's serial killer type stuff. And it's just like, dude, no. Like, this is not good at all. There was a viral video of a lady. They were asking police questions, and she said, are you guys tired of this? And she went on this, like, spiel, which she was right. It's just crazy. She was visiting family in Tennessee. Little did she know, another school shooting happened, and it's continuing to happen. My thing is, when is it going to stop, dude? Like, that's my thing. I mean, for all the families out there that have young children coming up, it's just, like, kind of disturbing in a way where it's like, if I have children, do I want to send my children to public schools? Do I want to send them to private schools? Or do I want to homeschool them, to have more safety there instead of, a school shooter just shooting it up? But the thing is, it's not just school shootings. I mean, shootings can happen anywhere nowadays. It can happen at the gas station. It can happen at Walmart. It can happen anywhere, dude. Anywhere now. Even a restaurant. It can happen anywhere. Someone can just have just shoot up anywhere. And it's crazy, dude. But, the school shootings, it is sick because, we have young children in there learning how to grow, learning how to become adults, in 10 to 15 years. And it's just like, these crazy people are just going to shoot them, dude. We saw the Parkland shooter, and that's even crazy. That happened in 2018. This dude shot up a school, killed a lot of people there in Florida. And it's just like, wow, what's the motive here? Why? What do you get out of that? What do you get out of killing other people and stuff? Like, you get nothing out of it. And I'm trying to, I'm scratching my head thinking, why? Why is all this happening? So it's just crazy. I don't think changing the gun laws is going to benefit it. Even if it does, it's going to benefit it by 1 or 2%. Nothing significant, right? Because a real serial killer is going to get a gun no matter what. If it's legal or illegal, no matter what, they're going to get it. So just like illegal drugs here in America, they're going to get it. For example, like fentanyl, they're going to get that drug eventually. If you dig deep, here in America, you can buy really anything. And it's sad to say, here in America, you can buy justice as well. You just can, dude. It's America. Money talks and bullshit walks, and that's just part of life here in America. We can't change that right now. But what we can change is how the public system works, how the schools work right now to protect the children. That's the number one thing we got to focus on right now, is to protect the children in schools. What are we doing for that? But I applaud, obviously, the officers involved in this. They did their job to a T, but obviously, Audrey Hale, it's something happened. I don't know what it was. It's more than just mental illness. I think it stems from, just something in her head was telling her to do this. I think it's really demonic as well. For her, it's just like, man, then they want to bring other political stuff into this, like the LGBT group and all this other stuff. Honestly, I don't think that has anything to do with it right now. I think it just has to do with the individual. We have to understand that, Audrey is a killer. A straight up killer, and it doesn't matter, what her political stance was. At the end of the day, she killed 6 people, 6 adults, 6 children. That's what we do know. What was the motive? What was all this? What was the reasoning for this? Was it jealousy? Was it envious? What was built up for her? What was it? Built up anger throughout the years, and she just wanted to release it at her old Christian school. It's sad to say because, a lot of Christians, and I'm a Christian, which is crazy because a lot of people in today's day and age, it's like, oh, well, Christians don't accept these type of people into their church. No, that's crazy, dude. A true Christian will accept anybody, no matter what they are, what they look like, what beliefs they have. It doesn't matter. They will accept you. Which is crazy because, some people in the comments, about this, the footage of the police coming up in there, they're like, oh, what happens if that was a teacher a good teacher with a gun and they end up killing the teacher? And it's just like, dude, come on, dude. Like, that's silly. Like, really? They obviously knew what she was wearing. They knew everything about it. So the audacity for this dude to even comment and say, hey, yeah, dude, like, what if it was a good teacher with a gun, a Samaritan with a gun looking for the bad guy? And it's just like, come on, dude. Like, dude, stop that. That's silly, dude. But I just think overall the school shootings, is it going to stop? Is it gonna stop? No, it's not. The gun violence, it's gonna continue to go. And that's the reality we live in here in America. We see that, dude. We see it every year. This happens. Probably in 2024, this time next year, there'd be another shooting, and it's just like, when is it gonna stop, dude? The reality is right now, where we're going here in America, it's not going to stop, dude. We're playing tricks on children's minds now, telling them that, hey, this is okay, to get into this and that, that's okay. To sell porn out there, that's okay. To look at, naked women online, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this stuff, we're just feeding the beast here, feeding the machine, polluting the young children's eyes. That's what we're doing now. It's just like crazy to me, dude. I never thought we'd see the day, right? But it's crazy. I mean, gun violence, it's continued to go up. 1 out of every 10 gun deaths are at the age of 19 and younger. That's what we do know, which is crazy. It's sad. People are dying every day from guns. But what's the cause of that, right? Obviously it's the humans behind the guns. Yes, guns kill people. I truly believe it's the motive behind the gun, though. It's the person pulling the trigger. Why? Why are they pulling the trigger? Why are they trying to kill people? Why are they doing this? But maybe they felt like, life didn't like them. People didn't like them in life. They didn't love them. So to repay that, they repay it with evil. That's what we see it. It's just like the Old Testament, an eye for an eye. Obviously, way off right now, since Jesus came and saved us and had the resurrection and said, no, we turn the other cheek. We help our neighbor as we want to help ourselves. But right now, it's completely opposite of that. It's the Old Testament right now, dude. Like, we're going to repay you. That's the motive of the shooters right now. But I think, it's way more than just mental illness. I think it's way more than just depression here. I think that's some of it. Absolutely. Depression, mental illness, that adds up. Jealousy, that adds up. Stir that up in the pot, and just continue to stir it up until, it overflows, and then the cup overflows, and then boom, something terrible happens like this instant, but we gotta amplify something different in schools. Not just metal detectors. We got to get more advanced. It's 2023. A true killer is going to find a way to go around that, to find a loophole around metal detectors. We got to come up with different solutions. We really do. Obviously, this Nashville, which is sickening, obviously she broke in herself, shot up the doors. It was crazy, dude. It was like, it was like Grand Theft Auto, but in real life. It was just like, really, dude? Like, what the heck? Like, this isn't normal. This isn't anything that we should even be talking about, dude. Like, we should even be seeing this, right? We shouldn't be seeing school shootings, man. Like, really? Like, it's sad to say, man. It really is. We got to pray. We got to come together. We got to get closer to God. That's another solution that we need here in America, because we don't see this stuff in different countries, right? We don't see school shootings, over in Europe, dude. We don't see that in Australia. Like, that's crazy, man. Like, only here in America, dude. In America, like, it's kind of right now, the point we're at in 2023, it's kind of just like we're in a melting pot right now. And everybody's kind of anger. We see the tense anger, especially on the internet. Like, the internet changed the game, right? Ever since the 90s, after the 90s, the internet has just changed the game. Like, we can see live stuff now. Like, in the 90s, we probably would have never seen these two officers come up and help, save other countless children's lives by taking Audrey's life here. The school shooter here. He was 28 years old, an adult here, and went into a Christian school and killed 6 people. That's crazy, dude. Like, that's unethical. That's, like, not normal. Like, what is going on? I just think for schools right now, schools and colleges as well, we got to implement, to prevent this stuff. What ways are we doing this? And I feel like even back in 2018, the Florida shooting, I was just like, what are we going to do? What are we going to amplify in schools now? What funding are we going to use? Are we going to use more funding for books? Are we going to use more funding for saving? Are we going to use more funding for roads? Like, what are we going to do for the funding? So it's crazy. America's in trillions of dollars of debt, but yet we can't, like, have better systems in schools to prevent this. Crazy, dude. Like, I'm kind of at a loss for words right now where it's just like, it's kind of like, I woke up in a nightmare here. It's just like, really, again? And we're seeing it again and again and again. It's just like, is it going to end? Like, straight up, is it going to ever end? But the reality is it's not going to end, and that sucks. That sucks to say, but, it's just the reality of it. It's a reality of America right now. It's a reality. It sucks. It sucks to say, but it stems, I really do believe, it stems from the human being, the person itself, not just the guns. We could say that. We could blame guns for killing people, but it's the person behind the gun, the person pulling the trigger, the heart of the person. That's who it is. So, Audrey Hale, obviously she pronounced dead on the spot. The officer shot her, which they had the right to. She went up in the school, killed 6 innocent people. Like, really? And you expect not to die? Like, come on, dude. Like, she deserved that. Absolutely. She deserved to be shot numerous of times right there on the spot, and they nailed it, dude. And they probably saved other people. Now, let's say these cops were like the Texas cops here and kind of hesitant and kind of froze up. Who knows? She could have killed, a couple more other people. She could have killed a classroom full of people, dude. Like, these cops were fearless, man, and that's what we need here in America, and they want to defund the police. Isn't that silly, right? Let's say we didn't have police right now. Where would we be, dude? This would be like the purge, dude. People would be dying in the street countlessly, dude. More than they are right now without police. So we need police, dude. Like, when people say defund the police, like, yes, there are bad police. There's bad apples everywhere, in any type of institution you get into. But look at the defund the police, dude. The ones that are protecting your neighbors, man, the ones more times than not that are saving you from other bad things happening to you in your neighborhood, your county, your country. Like, really? I just think it's funny, dude. I don't agree with it. I don't think defunding the police is gonna help anything. And like these 2 officers that really saved other people's lives from this monster Audrey, dude, like, this was something, dude. Like, we need officers, man, and we need to respect them. You might have, a history with police brutality or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, we need police, dude. Like, without police, like, it would even be times 3 or 4 of just shootings here in America. It would get worse. It would get worse if we didn't have police officers protecting us. I really would. Like, imagine if these police officers didn't show up here in the Nashville shooting, dude. Do you realize what would have happened? Do you realize if these officers didn't, like, act quickly the way they did, the way they ran up the stairs, the body footage of these stuff? Like, dude, they acted perfectly. Like, they did it great. So I think that's what we need. We need police officers like these 2 men here that really saved other countless lives. That's what we need here in America. But overall, looking at not just this Nashville shooting, but the shootings across America, 376 school shootings since 1999. That's crazy. Like, ever since then, it's just like, wow. And it's continuing to increase. When is it going to stop? I do think, it's the individual, the person. Do they have a good heart? Are they cold-hearted? Do they care about others? Are they sociopaths? Like, they don't give a shit. They don't care anymore. And I think that's hurting our younger generation coming up right now in their teenage years right now, where it's just like, they don't care, dude. They have no feelings anymore. Like, they're always on their phones. Like, they don't care, dude. They don't. They have no more filters anymore where it's like, hey, like, I want to be this in life. I want to be a firefighter. I want to help the community out. I want to be a missionary. Something like that, where it's just like, nowadays it's like completely opposite, dude. It's just like, no, dude, I want to be infamous, dude. I want to go on a rampage and start shooting people and get on TV one day. It's just like, really, man? That's the motives now? Like, that's something to look forward to every day of your life? Like, dude, it's way off. It's way off, and I think it's off track. But obviously, I think here in America, the most important thing is we need God and peace, dude. We need God and peace, because without God and peace, dude, like, where are we going? We're going down a really slippery slope where it's just like, we're not going to go anywhere. We're doing all the devil's work here, and we're seeing that. We're seeing the devil capitalize off this type of stuff, off these shootings, off the prostitution, off all the illegal drugs being sold here in America. It's crazy. But I think overall, with the gun laws specifically, I don't think that's really going to change much. To say, oh, we need to ban these type of guns. These guns kill more people than those other guns. It's the human behind it, dude. I really don't buy the whole gun thing. Oh, the automatic guns, this and that. At the end of the day, it's the motive behind the gun. It's the person. We can't really, change that right now. We can't change what happened in the Nashville shooting. It's sad. Like I was talking about that lady who's, aren't you sick of this? Aren't you sick about talking about school shooters, people just going crazy? Like, when is it going to end? What's the government going to do to fund to prevent this type of stuff? That's what the next step should be, is what the government's going to do to prevent school shooters. Like, that's what we need to amplify in schools right now. We need to come up with this type of stuff. Like I was telling you, like at airports, maybe put these type of things in schools. I understand, the budget will be crazy, but we spend silly shit on dumb stuff that we can afford this, dude. This is America. We can afford to amplify these type of things in schools around the United States. We can afford that, dude. We can, but we don't want to. That's the thing. That's the difference. It's like we don't want to put the time and effort to do that. Like, we need to do that. Like, we need body scans for every child coming in and out of the school. We need to understand their backgrounds. Do they have parents? Do they have father figures in their lives? Do they have role models in their lives? Do they believe in God in their life? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some things that we need to really dig deep in some of these young children and figure out who they are as a person. Audrey Hale seemed like a nice girl, right? And then all of a sudden, 28 years old, she DMs her friend and says, something bad's going to happen. Then, 2 hours later, boom, 6 people dead, including herself. Like, what's the motive there? We got to figure something out here, but most importantly, we need God here in America and in the world, because what's going to stop the school shootings? That's what we got to figure out. So I pray for all the families that were affected by the Nashville shooting, the 6 people that died innocently for no reason because of the motive of a crazy killer, sociopath, in Audrey Hale. That's what it boils down to, a crazy serial killer in herself. And that's what it was. So prayers out goes to the families, and I hope one day that we don't have to talk about school shootings anymore here in America, because it is ridiculous. It's sickening. It's one of them things where it's just like, wow, no one has a heart, dude. It's cold-hearted. We need to stop it. So I'm sending prayers to all the families and all the people affected by school shooters that's ever lived here in America and in the world. So prayers up to them. It's the Clown and Wood Cab Show. Let's